Hey Harmonizers, it's time to take a look at Alfie at the horse show in Pennsylvania. So this is walking over the water box. Basically, Alfie came down just for the experience of getting to be in Pennsylvania, the long trailer drive, getting to do these obstacles and things. So this is during the after practice, after the whole show day, I was able to ride him and go over the obstacles that were set up for earlier in the day. And he did amazing. He went over everything. And the original plan for him was to compete in South Carolina 2 weeks later. So this was all part of just prepping him for that competition in South Carolina. And you get another look of my training ways with my helmet on board and just kind of the process of me being slow and patient and just kind of doing things in little pieces for my horses. So here he's getting his cookie after earning his little reward. So I've shown you guys the videos of Pretzel, who's the horse that I had the fall off of the very next morning. But this was part of my successful riding the night before. And this was just having a little bit of a ride with Alfie, giving him that exposure of riding around in the arena. And at the same time, not doing too much because I still wanted to, rest and relax later that night and not make my horses sour or anything like that. So I brought him out and did a little bit of riding around. My friends were out there doing some things as well. And after we did some trotting warm up and we did the obstacles, I thought, okay, let's try to do some cantering offsite. So as you guys know from watching the videos previously posted, it took me a while to get that first canter happening, but with my approach, it's very slow and gradual and when the horse is ready. And when we finally got the canter, there was no bolting, no bucking, no anything like that. So here, when I asked him to trot, he kind of went in, or asked him to canter, he went into that really fast trot. And I basically slowed him down and was like, okay, not quite what I'm looking for. Let's try again. And whenever I'm asking horses to do things, if they're nervous and I'm like, okay, we're at a new place, he's never cantered off site before, he's only been to one show so far where it was walk trot, and this is now brand new, cantering off site, and cantering is still relatively new for him. I've done it a couple times at home, but not a whole bunch. I think I had done another time of cantering or two without having the chance to film it. So this is all relatively new, and so there he kind of gives me a stride of canters. I just stop and give him a little bit of praise, let him have a little bit of a rest, and then we go off and we try it again. And the last thing I want to do when a horse is a little bit nervous is just like get after them and kick them, because if you think about it, if you're nervous about anything, do you want a teacher that's like, hey, I believe in you, you can do this, like this is great, like let's try? Or do you want a teacher that's like, do this now, you better get going? Like, I don't want that kind of teacher. I don't want to be scared of my teacher. I want to feel like my teacher encourages me, and I want to believe in my teacher, and I want to be relaxed with my teacher. And so that's what I am for my horses, is I know that horses are a different species than us, but they have the same emotions that we do. They can be scared, they can be nervous, they can feel joy. It's all of those same things. So when he's nervous, I just take a step back and I'm like, all right, this is what I want you to do. And when you're ready, let's go for it. And when you do, you get those cookies. And if you don't, well, you don't get the cookies, but it's not the end of the world. And that's one of the really beautiful things about using positive reinforcement as that extra little reward buffer is if your horse doesn't do something for you, it's not a massive fail. Look at this cantering. It's now starting to go really amazing. He's coming around, going around the corners. And then as we come around here, there's like lots of bridges and things like that. So we slow down. So it's not the end of the world there. But if you only use pressure and release, meaning you kick your horse to go, if your horse doesn't go, you have to keep kicking so that way your horse doesn't learn to ignore your kick or think that your kick actually meant that they don't have to go. But when you use cookies as positive reinforcement and your horse doesn't earn the cookie or that big yes moment with the praise and like, oh, you're amazing, then the horse goes, like I better try a little bit harder without adding any of that anxiety or that fear that comes from adding a lot of pressure. So look how beautiful this canter is. Like he's just cruising around, looking super lovely here. He slows down a little bit as we go by the people sitting in the chairs there, which is totally fine. When I have horses slowing down when they're a little bit nervous, I would rather that than them taking off. So we just give it another go, and we do a little bit of trotting and cantering around. So he gets a little bit of a break, and then I'm just trying to build up that confidence in him that not only can he ride past things that are a little bit scary, but that we can work up a little bit of speed and actually get some canter going and start to canter past things that are a little bit worrisome. So again, he kind of gives me those couple strides of canter, and then he, there's the teeter-totter. It's all a little bit challenging to kind of stay past all of those things. So that wasn't ideal. Like ideally he would have cantered right past them. So I'm like, okay, let's do another little go here, but he grabs the wrong little canter lead. So I'm like, okay, let's try again. Let's get that correct lead. And as I'm doing these things, I'm always kind of thinking, where's my horse at? Like, what do they need to do? So I thought, okay, well, let's plan to come in here, trot past what's going on, make sure we go through at the speed that I'm asking him to go through. And then when I'm ready, I'll ask him to go for a little canter. So that way it's like, hey, we can go through this slowly because you're saying it's a little hard. And then we'll go for a little canter on that right lead. I'll give him a little stop, and I'll give him lots of praise there. Let him know that he's a total superstar, because I want to make sure I'm building him up and yet at the same time challenging him, but not pushing him to the point of exhaustion. Like I don't want to be cantering laps and laps. He's new to cantering, so I don't need to do 10 laps around the arena. So it's like, okay, he found it hard cantering past all of those people there. That doesn't mean I'm just going to keep gunning for it and gunning for it. I'm going to do a little bit of try, a little bit of praise, and kind of breaking up those little pieces of the things that I have to do. So this time you can see I kind of slow him to a walk, to walk by all of the people there. And then I'm like, all right, we're going to do a little change of direction and go the other way. So sometimes I want to make it my plan to slow down and go by the people as well. So it's always trying some different things. So here we're coming in at the trot, changing direction, trotting by all those people first that are sitting there, and included some kids that were kind of moving around as well. So it's not like they were just sitting there being perfectly still. It just added that little extra element of surprise and a little bit of challenge, which for me is a great training opportunity, because here I am in a situation where I can do more laps if needed. I can do circles, and I can choose what speed to go by. And then check this out. This time he's like, okay, I got it. You built up my confidence, and now I can canter by those people. Originally he was a little bit worried about it, and look at this. It's just a gorgeous lope that's happening. And it started a little wonky, right? At the beginning of this video, it's a little wonky. And then you just see it get better and better and better because of the praise, the positive reinforcement, the little bit of rewards, and going slowly without being intimidating. Hope you guys enjoyed.
Remember to subscribe and check out harmonyhorsemanship.com for even more learning.